channel today. I'm a mechanic by trade. Been tinkering, working on cars my whole life. Today we're working on the ugly truck. This is my ugly truck. It's a 97 Toyota T100, 3.4 liter V6. That's 362,000 miles on it. Runs great. Having a little issue though, and this is a very common issue with Toyotas. I worked at the Toyota of Gastonia for a number of years. Learned how to do this. This was a repair that we made several times, and if you're experiencing this issue, it's starting related. Okay. The Toyotas, these models, I'm not too familiar with the newer models, so I don't know if they're rebuildable or not. I would think they are. I don't know. But like I said, I don't know. Like my wife's Highlander, I don't know if it's rebuildable or not. But these are. You can replace the contacts and the plunger inside your housing, and it'll work. What it does, it gives you a problem where when you're trying to start, it gives you a clicking noise. Tick, 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 tick. People think they got a dead battery. But what it is that plunger, the contacts have gotten worn out and they're not making contact. And as that plunger, the more times you turn that key, tick, 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 and it'll finally make contact and it'll start up. It'll engage the starter motor. Today what I'm going to be doing is changing those starter contacts in this starter. This is the one off of it. First of all, use safety, caution, whenever you're working on your vehicles, please. Make sure you have them lifted correctly. Good floor jack, good floor jack stands, rated for how much the vehicle weighs. Make sure it's nice and stable on there. Ain't gonna go nowhere before you get up under this vehicle, any vehicle. You're gonna need, because these starters mount from the bell housing, so you're going to need a pretty long extension if you're going to tackle this by yourself. I'd say that's probably about a 15 inch. I think this is 15 inch. 18. This is an 18 inch extension with a wobble head socket, 14 millimeter. And a ratchet. Don't have to have a flex head ratchet, but it helps. This is just what I got. I love it. But you're going to need this to get over the transmission because of the 2 bolts to hold the starter on. It's 2 14 millimeters. You just got to get up over where the transmission lines and everything go in and get in there. I don't use an impact on starters. It's just a rule of thumb. There's been a lot of horror stories about using the impacts on starters. Now you can break it loose by hand and then zip them out with your impact, but when you're putting them back in, you definitely want to hand start them. And I guess if you wanted to, if you was experienced enough, you could run the bolt up to it, but I would never put the final good and tight, that's my German word for the day, good and tight. I wouldn't put the hand torque on there with the impact. I would do it with your hand. That way you can get that right torque. You're not breaking nothing off. You're not breaking the damn starter ear off. You're not breaking something, especially on like a small block Chevy or something like that. But the bolts go up to the block. Yeah, get the impact in there and zip, pop, there it go, broke. The ears broke off the block. Then you're in a situation. But anyway, we're gonna get going with this. I'm gonna bring you through a little bit of this starter contact replacement. I'll try my best anyway with my engineering of videotaping. No, I'm not going to show you taking the starter off. I don't have room under there. I mean, it's just me and my fat self under this darn truck. It's just taking, if you are mechanically inclined and you're under a car, you can figure out how to take the starter off, I hope. It's literally 2 bolts and a power wire and a connector. That's all it is. That's all it is. 12 millimeter for the power wire, and then you just disconnect the connector. 2 14 millimeter bolts, take them out. Starter literally falls right. You just, it's very easy. I may try to take a picture of it and put it in the video of the location before and after. As you can tell, it's grimy. This is the first time I've had this starter off. I bought this a little over a year ago, this truck, and it's not worn out. This truck, like I said, does have 362,000 miles on it. That's just grime. That's just dirt and grime. Yeah, oil. This thing had oil leaks everywhere when I first bought it, but now it's nice. There ain't an oil leak on this truck. Everything on it's Toyota. What can you ask for? I mean, it's gonna, knock on wood, it's gonna last. But that's why I always wanted one of these. But old T100. This was the Titan edition before Nissan had a Titan. But they named, this one was named a Titan edition T100, which it's pretty loaded. It's got power, everything. Power windows, power locks, everything, cruise control. It's loaded, I mean, for that era of time. But it's just my old truck, man. I like it, love it. Anyway, I'm gonna quit rambling. I'm gonna get set up. I'm gonna clean this starter off. You can see all the grime, and then we're gonna get it nice and fixed up. Gonna take this, I'm gonna try to show this as best as I can with what I got. Maybe I can tilt it a little bit. We got your advice. Just put it in there. Just don't grill arm it in there. Don't, because you can damage it. So you don't want it to be crazy tight in there, but just good enough. I took a cover off right here. There's a little bracket right here you can bend out. Okay, and you got 12 millimeter right here. Take that off for this connector. Move him out of the way, just like so. Okay. Now that I believe is a 14. Maybe bigger than a 14. That's 14. I'm just putting my stuff over here on the old truck. Here out back, let me give you the 14. Back, yeah. Got that 14. Just gonna take this nut right here off. That's gonna be loose in there now. This one you have to take off as well. I believe it's 14 as well, yep. 14 for that. gonna take that thin nut off. That's the same side that has the, and you've got an O-ring in here. You've got a, there's the contact. You've got all the, you got a washer in there. I'm still holding that for. Now if this one's loose, that cover will come out. Okay, there's a washer in there. There's another O-ring right there. The kit that I found on I found a kit on Amazon. I ain't gonna lie. And I'm usually particular about what I put in Toyotas, but for $16, I was like, I think I'm gonna give it a shot and see what it does. 8mm. For these, you got 3 nuts on this cover. Listen to that ratchet sound. Oh yeah. One little nut. Well, that's not a nut. I guess it's a bolt, right? That's a bolt. Out here working at the old hard knocks iron shop. We got it all covered, boys and girls. We got it all covered. We got the gym life covered. We got the daggum car plate covered, and we also got automotive. I've always said I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. It's true. I mean, that's really, really true. I've never been one to be master of anything. There's that one with the bracket. That's going to come off. There's a gasket in here. The kit does come with a new gasket. You can take all this old junk off. That stuff's been in there for a while. It's really brittle. Just going to open that up like that. Like that. I'll be back. Amazon. Yeah, right. But that's all it came with. A manila envelope. Get all that junk out of here. There we go. And I'm not going to spend a ton of time getting this stuff perfectly clean. I cleaned it good enough. There's your plunger. Very worn out. Very, very much worn out. You could sand them if you're in a pickle. You can sand them. I've done it many occasions. You take a little a cookie and just clean that right there if you're in a pickle. Now, right here is the big thing. This is what's causing my issue. It's not so much the plunger, and I'll get this out too so you can see it. There is a spring in here. Spring goes on the plunger, sits down in the hole. I'll give you a close-up shot of it in just a second. But this is your contacts. Take that bolt out of there. See, there's an O-ring on there. Take that O-ring off. Knock that out of the way. push that bolt through there. There's your there's this side bolt, okay? I'm gonna set him right there. I kind of like to do stuff in order. Be careful because you do have your connectors in here, okay? You have your connectors. Right there's one of your contacts, okay? It's not that bad, but it's worn. It's definitely got a ridge in there. I don't know if it's going to show up real good, but there's a ridge right there where that plunger, when you are hitting your key, it is, let me find myself in the daggum camera here. Focus. When you're hitting the key, that's pulling that plunger down, okay? Causing those contacts to make contact, to close the circuit, to make that starter engage to start your engine. If you're having this much wear, and I've seen them worse than this actually, but this right here, this plunger, is pretty worn out. That's probably one that you would be, might I say, SOL, if you didn't have a plunger. Because it would probably be okay if you put your new contacts in there, but you would probably be needing that plunger. Now this one is splined. This bolt is splined to this one, and this one is extremely worn out, okay? When I tell you extremely worn out, it's extremely worn out. I'm gonna see if this will catch on camera. Come on, focus. There we go. You see how worn out that is? That is what's causing my issue, and it will cause you an issue. Just like that, okay? That is a worn out contact. This one is splined, okay? So you want to be careful when you're putting it back together, okay? You've got your, and I'm not going to take any of the, there is paper in here and stuff, but I'm going to leave that sitting right where it's at, okay? There is no connector on this side where that splined bolt is, okay? There's your starter contact removal, okay? Pretty simple, right? So what we're going to do here, we're going to inspect our parts, okay? We're going to see what we got in here. I've already took a little look-see to see what we got going on, and it looked pretty good to be, you know, Amazon parts, to be honest with you. I mean, it looked pretty good. I mean, like I said, $16 shipped to the house, and you can't beat that. Now, I'll try to see if I can figure out how to put a link in the description. I'm not too savvy with that, but there's your gasket. Just got to get it over the holes here. Get it nice and lined up. We'll get that in just a second. Yeah, this is the new plunger. Looks exactly the same. There's a pretty noticeable difference in the thickness of it, but like I said, this is more than likely 300,000 miles of service. on these contacts. Maybe not, I don't know. That's just that's definitely a question I don't have the answer to. I'm gonna set this stuff right here just to have it so I can. Okay, there's your splined. Like I said, there's a splined stud, if you want to call it a stud. This one has the long contact, so it's very important that when you are putting this in, that you have it flat. You do not want this thing to be cockeyed in there, if that makes any sense to you. Okay, when you put that on there, it's going to pull all that up. Okay. These don't. I think I'll go back with the factory one on this one because it doesn't give me that option of this, and I kind of like that factory one because it kind of holds everything. Yeah, I'm gonna go back with the factory one on that one. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So I'm gonna put that back in there on that side. I mean, it would probably be okay, but I just like how that one is more better, I guess, if you want to say more better. But see, you really have to be paying attention to yourself when you're doing this one, because you got to get it where it's flat in that housing. So you have to get it in there like that. All right, gonna have to do a little bit of different. These are a little bit backwards. This one is horseshoed that way. This one's horseshoed that way. I'm just going to reverse the contacts so that's going in the right direction. I think it will be fun. I think. To be honest with you, I've never had to do that, but I think it'll be just fun. All right, get on with the action. So you've got these O-rings. Slide them back over the studs here. Okay. You're gonna have these covers. It's gonna go over all that. Yonder. This power wire goes in. So now we're gonna get this old flat boy right here. This is still looks like it's down with there. I might use the old one, just so I like to keep it a 14. But you just like, you want to make sure that you're keeping these contacts flat against the bottom of this housing, okay? You don't want to have any kind of you don't want to have any of them like pushing up on you. So what little good thing to do is to hold that against there. I know I'm all up in the way, but you're getting the gist, hopefully. Okay, it's pretty tight, and it's completely flat against there. That contact is completely flat against that housing, and it's tight in there. What I'm going to do is, since I have it out here, I could probably just use this since it's a deep well. This is a medium deep. There we go. Nice and tight. All right. Now what we're gonna do is put this back, put that power wire back on there. That's the coil. Okay, good and tight, good and tight, good and tight. Yep. We like that, don't we? Good and tight. That's our German word of the day. Good and tight. Now we're going to take this one, and it's going to get its little self in there. You want to try to get this one as started as good as you can. Put it through there and checking, just see what everything looks like. Looks pretty good. Fogging up in here. Starter contacts back in there. Yep, that'll work. Okay. I'm going to go back with the factory one, the cover. I'm going to put my O-ring on there. Okay, let's figure this out together. Okay, there's that. Make sure you line that piece right here up with the that. Stay in your house. This is where it's very important to make sure that that remains flat against there. just take anything you can. You want to hold that against that right there. What you're doing now is pulling those splines into that new contact. Making sure it's flat. Good and tight. Really good and tight. Yep. Now we got both of those in there. What we're going to do now is put the plunger in. There we go. We got good contact. Yeah, buddy. Looking good to me. There is a little trick. I do have a little gap, and I'm talking about minute paper size gap on the back side of this contact. Let me show you what you're gonna do. I'll be right back. Get you a little pecker, get you something with a brass strip, and there we go. Perfect. It's perfectly flat now. I can come over here and check this one. Nothing needs to be done with that side. It's perfectly good. A lot of times when you're just knocking those down, imperfections in the actual contact itself. So you just want to make sure that those contacts are flat against the bottom. Then plunger can go in. There's your contacts right there, and that is that. I'll get right back with you. All right, we're going to get back to it. Well, I've been trying to get this old gasket to work on here. This is one of the issues with buying aftermarket stuff. When I mean aftermarket, what I mean, if it's not sold by the dealer or sold by a Toyota website, this is the things you're going to run into. You're going to run into stuff like this. But my thing about it is, if I can make it work, I will make it work. I'm not trying to jury rig anything, but I'm just trying to make do with what I've already gotten. Now, would I recommend this to everybody? No. What I would recommend, and solidly recommend, like if you're doing starter contacts, get them from a Toyota dealer. That way you are going to be covered, I promise. Absolutely covered, because they're going to get you the right parts. They're not gonna scoot you out the they ain't gonna do you bad. I'll just say that. Let's just say it like that. They're not gonna do you bad. But for me, this truck, 300,000 miles. I know these starter contacts are gonna, it's gonna contact, it's gonna work, it's gonna do what it's intended to do. and that's all I care, you know. Now, I don't feel like I'm gonna get stranded. And it's progressively gotten worse, and it will. It'll continue to get worse on you. Because it'll get to a point. I've seen them broken inside there, that the contacts are so worn out. Good and tight. Good and tight. Good and tight. Take that, wind them back around. Everything's good and sealed. This thing right here is absolutely rotten. I'm going to try and get it to stay on somehow, some way, but I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to. May throw me a couple zip tie around it, just to sit there and let it hold it on there. Zip ties. Where would we be without zip ties? This thing's just, you know, old. I mean, it's really stinking old. And we're gonna see. We'll make it a valid effort anyway to see if I can't save it on there. And that's all it is just old junk, my junk. See, look at that. On there, it'll never go anywhere. Never go anywhere. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. I'll tell you what, that's pretty good if I do say so myself. Yeah. Now when it goes back up in there, it's just like that. That's up against the block. This is right here. Put your power wire on there. Connect it. Good to go. And that's what makes it a good starter again. Alright, starter's installed. I took a couple pictures down there, nothing major. It's just a starter. Yeah, nothing major. I had to fix one of the bolts, one of the nuts for that motor wire that went to the solenoid. I had it backwards. I fixed it off camera. I put that wire on with the set nut that holds the contact on there. So I switched it around and fixed it. I noticed the dang nut laying there when I, of course, had it back together. But fixed it off camera. I don't know if I mentioned this in the start of the video. Anytime you're doing electrical work on a car, alternator, starter, disconnect your battery, disconnect your power from that. Yeah, some people's gonna say you don't have to. I've had some situations where myself I've arced and blew out a fusible link because I've neglected to unhook the battery when doing electrical work. But anytime you're messing with starter, alternator, just disconnect your power, your positive cable. Put your positive cable back on, you're done. Give her a nice little snuggin'. Nice and tight on there. Good and tight, right? Let's see if she starts. There you go. Starter contacts replaced. Hopefully I don't have to deal with that no more. And we'll be good to go. Yeah, I'm a hoarder. Things like that right there, I'll save it. But anyway, that's starter contacts, DIY style, mechanic style, whatever style you want to call it. It's replacing starter contacts. It's cheaper than replacing a starter. I mean, I think the starter, like, if you look on Amazon, it's like $65 to $75 for a starter. Ain't too bad. But the good ones, like a Toyota, is like $140 for something that's going to last. I've got original equipment on here. Why not just rebuild the contacts? Down the road it goes again. What else can you say? It is what it is. Do the cheapest method. Everything doesn't have to cost astronomical amount of money, you know. It can be cheap. $16 fix. $16 fix. I'm gonna end the video here. I thank y'all. If you got anything out of this, leave a comment, like, subscribe. Like I said, I'm kind of multifaceted kind of channel. I do my workouts, gym, car plate, and mechanic. But this has just been me my whole life. That's who I've been my whole life, in a nutshell. Gym, fishing, mechanic. You can spin it any way around you want to. Fishing came first. Gym came second, and then I became a mechanic. So whatever you want to call it, but that's how it goes. I'm gonna quit rambling. Y'all have a good day. Enjoy your Sunday, and God bless you.